It's like you're looking through a telescope. You see where you're gonna be. Growing, getting better.
Questions of complexity are coming your way when you're 45 years old. And the way in which you figure them out is you access what you already know. The place in which you develop knowledge, a depth of knowledge to access, occurs in the environment of student. It occurs in the environment of student. I'm going to wrap up with this, and then I'm going to answer some questions. This is the easiest identity to not pay attention to. As an athlete, your feedback is immediate. You understand that? On the football field, you're on the line. Whoever's the most prepared will get the best of it. As a collective team, whoever's the most prepared will get the W in most cases. Right? Yes. Feedback is instant. Student, feedback isn't so instant. You might get a grade, D, C, right? There's a measurement of that. But whether it's in your permanent mind, we don't know that. One of the challenges of being your age is to understand this imbalance. Have I critiqued your swaggedness in any way? Have I talked bad about it? No. Have I talked about hip-hop, which I love? Have I critiqued that? No. Have I talked about your dress style? No. No. Have I in any way talked about the youth of today? No. Have I did any intergenerational critique of it? No. Because all young people must socialize. And anybody critiquing you, they forgot that they too socialized. They just listen to things of a different era. The same way when you get older, your children will want to socialize, right? I haven't critiqued swagger. Swagger has a right to exist. The social you chilling out in the spot, in between class, hanging out, texting, just kind of chilling, downtime. Does that person have a right to exist? No. So I have to ask you this question with all genuine sincerity and earnest. Does this person have a right to exist? Yes. You know it logically, but does it square with your actions? You know it intuitively at a visceral gut level, but does it square with your habits? You know it almost obviously, but does it square with your behaviors? You know it as a point of why even talk about it, but does it manifest in your intellect?
Beat your opponent. The one thing that Coach Guy beats into us is it's not beat your opponent, it is dominate your opponent. In all aspects of the game, you must work to dominate your opponent. Now, beat your opponent. Let's talk about dominate your opponent. Let's take it outside of football. Can we apply dominate your opponent life skills? How? In what? What are you dominating in the classroom? Right here. And it doesn't matter what book it is. You guys need to dominate this book. You need to know this book inside and out. Yeah. What happens if you know this book inside and out? It's easy. How hard do you guys study your players for football? Do you know them inside and out? Who's taught you that? Coach who? I could tell just walking in the door talking to Coach Phillips what his demeanor is on the field, in the classroom. You must have had a little bit of butt chewing from him at one time or another, or maybe a motivational speech, right? Did it work for you? You know what? You're here. And that's a big deal. Is this a volunteer hour for everybody, or is this just something you guys sign up for? For some. Who's here on volunteer time? You guys are heavy game. And that's a big deal when it comes to coaches. And it comes to dominating your opponent. Work to dominate your opponent. In life and in football.
Say that. If you only knew Whatever choices that you make today will cost you in the future. Will you put a lot of things back on the shelf? Example, smoking weed. Young kids out here, man, they're smoking weed like it's just part of what they do every single day. Joining gangs, selling drugs, having sex, having kids that you can't even take care of because you barely can take care of yourself right now. Partner call you up, hey man, what's up? You want to go smoke with me? That's a decision that you get a chance to make or not. Some of those decisions that you make are going to cost you a tremendous amount later on. Smoking weed, let me tell you something. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Joining a gang, thinking that's cool, it's going to cost you. We see it on TV all the time. Everybody that joins a gang, they get older, they realize, I shouldn't have joined that gang. I don't do that no more. What do I do after coming out of prison? Or changing life because someone close to you died? They're back in the youth centers trying to talk to the other kids about why they shouldn't join gangs, correct? Don't you wonder why people do it? We glorify the mob at times, the Scarface, to all this stuff. You know, they have this thing to where we don't tell, we don't snitch. What does every single one of them do when they get caught? They snitch, so they don't have to go to jail. You know what I mean? So what I'm talking about is the decisions that you guys can make will cost you a tremendous amount. So when you're faced with those issues, be sure to say, can I afford this? Can I afford possibly going to jail? Can I afford possibly having a kid that I can't take care of? Catching a disease? Getting jacked, getting shot, whatever. Can I afford that? And when you realize that you can't afford that, do like some of my customers used to do in 1990. Give it back to the people.